Hey guys, my name is Chris Ware and today I would like to share with you 3 open source retro throwbacks which I think are worth your time. Okay, so the criteria for this particular list are as follows. 1, it actually has to be open source. I want to see that source code. Benchmarking criteria number 2, it has to be a clone of an existing game. So that means no reimaginings or games inspired by. I would very much like to see a retro classic cloned and made suitable for today's hardware. Criteria number 3 is that it has to be built from the ground up, all new material. So that means no open source engines for proprietary games. So unfortunately, OpenMW, you are out. Okay, so with that criteria, let's take a look at the 3 games which I think are worth your time. Okay, so the first one on the list is Open Sonic. Now, this isn't exactly as long as the original Sonic, and it comes with a good number of improved mechanics, but as you can see from the retro look and, well, quite frankly, them lifting the intellectual property out of the franchise, it is certainly a throwback clone. Now, this one hasn't been maintained since 2010, but it does accept user-created maps, so from that kind of reasoning, you could say that it's consistently maintained. So if you want a taste of the original Sonic, this might be worth a look, although they do implement a cooperative player mechanic, so you play not only as Sonic but Tails and Knuckles, each utilizing their sort of individual skills, and you have to use all 3 of these characters to get through most of the levels. There's a little bit of puzzle solving involved, but it's also about as fast paced as your traditional Sonic game as well. Okay, so second on the list is Freedoom. Now this is by no means the only open source Doom clone, but it's the one that I've caught myself playing the most. Now it takes all of the great original concepts of the original Doom and then brings them forward for modern day hardware. So some of the features that you can see which you might have missed in the original Doom are things like widescreen support and of course no FPS limitations. So if you're looking for a first person shooter where you don't have to think too much but you just want to play with a really crisp feel with absolutely no limits on the frames per second, then this is actually really quite entertaining for just that. It also comes with some of the problems that the original Doom also had, which is, yeah, the key hunting can kind of get a little old at times, but it's definitely still worth a look even if you're just looking for a bit of a mindless shooter that will run ridiculously well on your hardware. And again, you will probably notice that because this is open source from the ground up, it will not have the existing Doom levels, but you can actually import them if you have them lying around. Okay, so last and by no means least, my personal favourite out of the 3, OpenTTD, which unofficially stands for Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe. Now, this is very much a clone of the original Transport Tycoon Deluxe. This is particularly addictive, but then again, I was very much addicted to the original, and it's nice to see not only an open source port, but one, of course, that works on Linux. This is a fantastic throwback. Now, they claim to have improved the gameplay in a number of areas, but I gotta admit, it's been so long since I played the original, I couldn't tell. It looks pretty much pound for pound exactly what the original was, and well, that's really kind of exactly what I was hoping for. So I kind of got lost in that game for a second time, and I really enjoyed that. One of the things that I particularly liked, of course, was its support for widescreen resolutions, something which I think is a big bonus in a lot of these open source ports. With all of that in mind, it's definitely worth taking a look at OpenTTD and, of course, as well, Freedoom and Open Sonic. So that's about it for me today. Don't forget to let me know if there are any other particular titles you'd like me to check out, and until next time, I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Take care now.